Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Monday, the 9th of October. Good to have you aboard. Part of the Believe Podcast Network and everything ZASLOW Show 2.0, presented by our title sponsor, Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys. 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. You've been involved in any kind of an accident, hit and run, slip and fall, motorcycle. Hey, if you're dealing with a back injury from work, you were on the road, even in public, if you suffered long-term back pain through no fault of your own, Anidjar and Levine will help you pursue compensation. They are dedicated to providing the highest client support with no hidden fees or costs. Call Anidjar and Levine, 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. We have Monday Night Football tonight. Packers and Raiders to wrap up week 5 of this NFL season. And of course, with football back, Bet Online, your number one information source for all your sports wagering info, all the up-to-minute stats, news, scores, matchup breakdowns. Get the latest game odds, spreads, and totals from the NFL and college football at your fingertips with BetOnline's real-time updates on stats, news, and odds all through the college football playoff and then the Super Bowl. BetOnline gives you access to the best football promotions and contests available anywhere online. Head to the BetOnline website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Remember to use the promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V. Use our promo code BELIEVE, and you're going to get 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. So, a lot to get to here. Glad to have you aboard with us on a Monday as we get your week started. There is a lot happening. You got the Miami Heat beginning preseason tomorrow night. You got the Florida Panthers beginning regular season Thursday night. We got a lot of action from over the weekend, including a disaster at the University of Miami, and also a pretty ho-hum 2-touchdown win for the Miami Dolphins. Now, first thing I want to mention, we'll get serious for a moment here, and then we'll keep this train moving. There's a very serious situation going on right now in Israel between Israel and the Palestinians, and this, most everyone who listens to this show, I'm Jewish, so this is something obviously that we have our eye on, something that everybody should have their eye on, but something that's obviously really important and for Jewish people, for Jewish Americans, it's a very weird situation because we're over here and they're over there, and so you have a lot of feelings about what's going on. But while I just wanted to address it really quickly, and the fashion that I want to address it in is we have a lot of people who are Jewish who listen to the show because they know that I'm Jewish, so I represent, of course, but we're not going to do the whole, I'm not going to give a bunch of thoughts and a bunch of opinions about what's going on, other than, my opinion is I support Israel 1,000% with everything that's going on right now. And Hamas, they are terrorists. I don't know any other way that you look at it. So, that opinion I will throw out there. I'm 1,000% behind Israel right now. But, you know the way we do it with my show. We've always done it like this. When I used to do the show with Amber, it was during the course of a really divisive time in our country. Still divisive, right? Politically. And we did a really, what I think, great job at, towing the line where, you think you know what our political standings are, and I'm telling you, you don't. We did a really good job of not really letting anyone know how we feel or where we stand. I thought we were able to play both sides of the fence pretty well on that one because it's super divisive. That's not what anyone wants to hear about when we're talking about sports. I totally agree with that. I don't think anyone listening right now wants to hear about any of that kind of stuff. So that's generally my attitude when it comes to all the political stuff. I just don't think what's going on in Israel right now, it's not political, it's terrorism. terrorism's not political. Terrorism's terrorism. And they're animals up there, what they're doing, especially to these women. I advise you not to watch videos that are, like, I happened to catch a video earlier today, and, like, I got upset with myself that I allowed myself to see the video. I was annoyed, because I don't normally watch that kind of stuff. I don't like see, oh, you see the video, you see what like, no, I don't need to see it. I can read about it. That's good enough. I can imagine what it looks like. And I saw one of the videos this morning, and I regret having seen it. But what they're doing to women over there, it's abhorrent. It's terrorism. It's not political. But the point that I wanted to make is, especially because we have a lot of Jewish people who listen to the show, because of me, because I represent, of course, I'm not getting into it other than telling you that I am 1,000% behind Israel and everything Israel is doing right now to protect itself and everything that they will continue to do to protect themselves. I am 1,000% behind all of it. All right, so I just wanted to address that really quickly. I know you guys, you don't want to hear about all that stuff because we want to talk about the toy department and we want to talk about stupid sports, and that's why we're here. So that's what we're obviously going to do. All right, so let's start out with the Dolphins here. And yesterday was a weird game because they blow out the Giants. They blow out a team they're supposed to. They do exactly what they're supposed to do. Like, you look across the AFC East and you see Buffalo there. The Dolphins were handed a gift yesterday. By the way, of course, we're going to get to our NFL rundown for Week 5, always brought to us by Brunt Insurance, bruntinsurance.com. We'll get to that coming up. But you look across the pond, as they like to say, and the Jaguars gifted the Dolphins a Buffalo Bills loss. The Bills did not do what they were supposed to, which is take care of a team they're supposed to beat. Now, the Jags aren't a bad team. The Jags are just totally average. Like, the Jaguars are, I think a lot of people thought the Jaguars were going to be good. They're not good. They're totally average. And they really beat the shit out of the Bills. I mean, it was a 5-point game, but they were up the whole game. They beat them up. And the Dolphins were granted a gift from the Jaguars yesterday. So now you got to take advantage. And I told you this going into the game, where you're going to find out a little bit about the Dolphins this weekend. Not just because they're coming off of an embarrassing blowout loss in Buffalo, but because if you are a championship contender, if you are a Super Bowl contending team, you know, I started to have major doubts about the Dallas Cowboys, and I certainly believe after last night that they're valid. Dallas was either 2-0 or 3-0 when they went to, I think they were 2-0 at the time, because now they're 3-2. They were 2-0 when they went to Arizona, and they lost 28-16. It's like, you're not a championship contender if you have a chance to go 3-0 and you lose by double figures at Arizona. You need to beat the shit out of the teams you're supposed to beat the shit out of. So we were going to learn about the Dolphins a little bit this weekend. Not just of how they respond to coming off of the game against Dallas, but we're going to learn about them. Do you do what you're supposed to do against a bad team? And they did exactly that. They were granted a gift with Buffalo losing, and now the Dolphins took care of their business, and they are back in first place in the AFC East, exactly where they belong. So from that perspective, yesterday was a good day. Now, there are things that obviously you didn't like. For one of the things that you did like I said, it was a weird game, a weird feeling to blow out a team and not really feel fulfilled at the end of the game. Like, the second half of the game dragged. And I don't know, when that game ended, did you feel fulfilled? Just like, all right, good. Glad we're through that. Won by 2 touchdowns. Would have felt a lot better. We know that the offense gave away 10 points. The pick 6 and, the next turnover, which led to the 3 points. The defense held them right there. They didn't get any yards, and the Dolphins held them to the field goal there. So the game would have felt so much, like the final score would have felt so much better, 31-6, which is what it should have been, as opposed to 31-16. But I think the biggest takeaway is you smoked a team and felt unfulfilled at the very end of the game. And what I mean by that, of course, is the Dolphins are in a place now, the Dolphin fan is in a place now where you can blow a team out and not feel great about it. And that right there is a really good thing. I mean, think about what I just said, and think about where we have come from as Dolphin fans. See, yesterday was a really good day for the Dolphins. I'm taking the glass half full approach. There are things you didn't like, for sure, specifically Tua. Now, that doesn't mean, when I say yesterday, when I tweet out yesterday that Tua is having a terrible game, I love Tua. I am a big-time Tua guy. I have defended Tua since day number one. But if that means that I'm always going to sit here and tell you how amazing Tua is no matter what, that doesn't make me some kind of great Dolphin fan. That doesn't make me some type of great Tua fan. It makes me an idiot. That's what that makes me. So I'm totally fine with being able to sit here. I am comfortable sitting here telling you, as a guy who loves Tua and absolutely believes in Tua and has seen more than enough out of Tua to know they're going to win a Super Bowl with Tua. But I could also sit here and tell you, he stunk yesterday. Stunk. And against a good team, they will lose with that type of performance. But that's another thing, right? Think about this. Think how far we have come. The Dolphins won by 2 touchdowns yesterday. Tua was 22 of 30, which is an excellent percentage. He had 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and that was a terrible performance. That's how far we've come. 308, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, win by double figures, bad performance. Yesterday was a good day for the Dolphins. It's a good day. I'm taking the glass half full approach, and so should you. But when Tua's not good, and they still blow a team out, Tua had big numbers. Hill had big numbers. Achane had big numbers. And you were unsatisfied with that game, that's a good day for the Dolphin fan. Think about that. So, and it's great too, because I'm watching the game with my wife yesterday, and especially in the first half. Just everyone who touches so many big plays. Everyone who touches the ball. Achane, Mostert, Waddle, Hill, everyone who touches it. It's big play after big play. I mean, I guess we're going to get Chase Claypool out there next weekend. A really fast, big, physical wide receiver. I mean, it's kind of a nothing trade they made, but you're adding more talent. Everyone who touches the ball, it's just big play after big play. I kept every couple minutes, I say to my wife, here we go. Here we go. Like, that's the experience of watching Dolphin football now. And we were still, and I say we because I don't know, I feel like maybe you felt the same way I did, unfulfilled by the end of the game. But I feel like we're watching that game, and yeah, it's super exciting. You don't need me to tell you that. But my biggest takeaway from yesterday was that the Dolphins can have that type of game, score 31 points, and be sloppy offensively. And Tua to have a poor game by Tua standards for sure, that was a really good sign. Now, yes, it's that Giant team, when you're talking about the worst teams in the league, like I think of, if I were to do the 4 worst teams in the league, it's Giants, Panthers, Patriots, Broncos. Those are the 4 worst teams in the league, right? Easily. And the Giants might be the worst of the group. But there's also part of it where the defense needs to get a little bit of confidence. And I think yesterday was a good confidence day for the defense because they know they only gave up 6 points. And they had a bunch of sacks. Well, they have 7 sacks? They had a bunch of sacks. Wilkins, finally showed up. Like, maybe the thing with Christian Wilkins is, because he's been MIA these first 4 games, maybe the thing with Christian Wilkins is because he had the hold in training camp and didn't play in preseason, maybe just needs to get his legs under him. He was awesome yesterday. Zach Sealer was awesome yesterday. And you were able to get Bradley Chubb even was getting in there. Emmanuel Ogbah. So this defense needed a bit of a confidence boost. They needed a get-right game. And hopefully you get Jalen Phillips back next week. And there's no reason you have Carolina at home next week. There is no reason you're not 5-1 going into Sunday Night Football again at the Philadelphia Eagles. Major test. And the Eagles showed me a lot yesterday too. Major test for the Dolphins coming up next week. But they're taking advantage. You got to continue taking advantage of the easy part of the schedule here, because here's what you got going into the bye week. The Dolphins should be 5-1 after Carolina next week. Then they are at Philadelphia Sunday Night Football. Then New England's here. Max Jones, he sucks balls. And then they are in Germany against Kansas City. And then they have the bye. And let me tell you something. Why can't the Dolphins beat the Chiefs? And especially it's in Germany. I mean, it's neutral territory. Both teams are making that trip over there. Why can't the Dolphins? What have you seen from the Chiefs that would tell you that team's that team's unbeatable? I understand they won 4 in a row, but I mean they barely snuck past the Vikings yesterday. They have not been impressive. They are not this offensive juggernaut they used to be. The question: can the Chiefs keep up with the Dolphins offensively? Dolphins can win that game against the Chiefs. So that's what you're looking at for the next few weeks until the bye. It's Carolina, at Philadelphia Sunday Night Football, New England, and Kansas City in Germany. Those 4 games, at worst, you're 2-2. You're 6-3 going into the bye. Can you sneak one of those other games, either at Philadelphia or Kansas City in Germany, and be 7-2 going into the bye? I don't know. If you could sneak one of those games, be sick. But right now, you're coming off a game where the Dolphins did what you're supposed to do. No injuries yesterday. Teron Armstead's going to be out for a few weeks. Hey, Kendall Lamb, excellent job filling in. You got a lot to feel good about if you're a Dolphin fan yesterday. But man, just all over the field. And by the way, for the defense who needed kind of a get-right game, kind of a let's feel good about ourselves game, some of the sacks they had came at really opportune times. Like in the first quarter, you had Christian Wilkins get the sack on 3rd down. That led to the 55-yard field goal by the Giants, which was no good. And then in the second quarter, the Giants, they got their first points of the game. They got the field goal. It was Zach Sealer getting the sack on 3rd down. So the Dolphins were getting sacks. They were making plays in timely fashion. But if we can go back to Tua for a moment here, and real quick, I obviously slept great last night. I've been getting the best sleep of my life for really like the last 5-6 months now. And you're probably saying to yourself, Zaslow, how's that happening? How are you getting such good sleep? The answer is actually really easy. Sheets and Giggles. Guys, with Sheets and Giggles, you're going to get the best sleep that you've ever had. Plus, you're not going to have to figure, hey, I don't like my current bed sheets. Where are we going to shop? No, you're going to sheetsgiggles.com. It's so easy. It's right at your fingertips. I mean, if I'm telling you here that if you put the promo code ZASLOW into checkout, ZASLOW, we're already getting the best sleep of our life with irresistibly soft eucalyptus sheets, unique satin weave sheets and Giggles. The sheets are not only soft, they're so breathable, they're cool, you're comfortable all night long, but you're getting 20% off when you use promo code ZASLOW, Z-A-S-L-O-W. Guys, what are you waiting for? Go to sheetsgiggles.com and you'll become one of over 100,000 Americans, just like the Zaslow family, that are sleeping on sheets and Giggles and never turning back. Remember, use promo code ZASLOW, Z-A-S-L-O-W at checkout, 20% off your first order. And right now, you got the annual fall sale going on right now. Discounts all over the place. You know my man Colin, he's the founder and CEO of Sheets and Giggles. Super pleased with the Dolphin win yesterday. Super pumped about the Panthers starting up this week. Remember, he took me and my son to the Panthers Stanley Cup Final Game 3. What a night. Anyway, Get the best sleep of your life with the softest, coolest, most breathable sheets ever. Sheets and Giggles. Use promo code ZASLOW, sheetsgiggles.com. So let's get to Tua here. Tua was bad yesterday, but that's a good thing. 22 for 30, 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he was bad. That's a bad day from Tua. The thing is, Tua is so accurate. Like, he throws the ball into a keyhole. But because he's so accurate, there are some passes sometimes that I can't believe he even tried it. And most of the time, it works because he's so accurate. Well, there were times yesterday that he was trying it, and it was a poor decision. Like, you're super accurate, but you can't make a throw that just isn't there. And that happened a couple of times yesterday. Now, those throws that were broken up were not necessarily the ones that I'm talking about, which were straight up bad throws or bad decisions. And there were 3 that stood out to me in particular. Obviously, you have the pick 6 late in the first half, which he threw into triple coverage. And it was batted and obviously returned 100 yards for the touchdown. Awful, awful decision. Then, of course, you had the second interception where I don't even know what he was doing there. I mean, threw behind the receiver, right? It was an awful decision and an awful pass. But also there was a third, not interception, but a third throw, which also really stood out to me. It was the first drive of the game. And I just thought Tua had a really, I don't know if it was a lackadaisical effort yesterday, or maybe he just wasn't seeing the field well. But the first touchdown pass he threw to Jalen Waddle rolling out left, the play right before it, where he had the receiver wide open in the back of the end zone. I don't remember who it was. And the ball was tipped away, and it was incomplete. He either didn't see that receiver, that defender, or it was just a terrible throw. Because dude was wide open in the back of the end zone, and all Tua's got to do is put a little bit of air on it. Instead, he didn't. The ball's tipped away. Lucky it wasn't intercepted. I wonder if Tua even saw that defender there. Because there were other plays where, especially the second interception, you wonder, did you even see that defender there? You threw it to triple coverage, which led to the pick 6. Are you seeing the defenders yesterday? I did not think Tua saw the field well yesterday. He was bad. But he's so good that he could still have the day that he had. You know, a lot of quarterbacks, you have a bad day, you're 14 for 25, 120 yards, and an interception. His bad day is 22 for 30, 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 31 points, 2 touchdown victory. There you go. So we're lucky in that regard. His bad day is still a good day overall. That's the point that I'm making yesterday, right? You know, and I sent the tweet out where Tua's been terrible today. And then, you know, I get a little bit of pushback, and it's like, I'm not going to argue with you guys. I love Tua. He had a bad day yesterday. If you want to say it's a bad day for his standard, say it however you want. We're lucky that was his bad day. We're also lucky. We're lucky that his bad day looks like that, and we're lucky that the bad day came against the Giants, right? Yeah. And next week, Carolina, get right against Carolina. Because Sunday Night Football at Philadelphia, yeah, different animal, man. Different animal. All right. So tonight, you got Week 5 wrapping up. It's Packers and Raiders. Not sure what the play is tonight. I played the Rams yesterday. Felt good about it. That was the only thing I did yesterday. Obviously, well, we'll get to it. Yeah, let's do it here. Let's get to our Week 5 NFL rundown. That's right. A lot of action around the National Football League, not just involving the Miami Dolphins. And every Monday, our NFL rundown is brought to us by the only insurance agency I send you guys to. That's right, Brunt Insurance. I've had my homeowner's insurance through Brunt Insurance for about 10 years now. And that's because I know that I'm covered, top to bottom. I don't lay awake at night wondering, do I have the right coverage? And that's because when you get your insurance at Brunt Insurance, 954-589-2204, Greg Brunt and his team, fully licensed staff, they're going to go over the entire policy with you from start to finish to make sure you know the ins and outs and you understand your coverage. That's why I send you to Brunt Insurance, because not only are you getting the most comprehensive coverage and care out there, but you're getting it at the most affordable rate. Now, what if you're calling from outside South Florida? Yeah, that's okay. Brunt Insurance has offices all throughout the state. So you could be calling from Pensacola all the way down to the Keys and beyond. Brunt Insurance, they have you covered. 954-589-2204. Maybe you're looking for affordable care and the best coverage on your car, your motorcycle, your boat. Yeah, Brunt Insurance has got you covered. Again, a fully licensed staff that's going to make sure that all the confusing options out there are crystal clear. 954-589-2204. Again, 954-589-2204, bruntinsurance.com.